Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best centers in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me pitch towards the 13,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading every single day, just over 100 subscribers away from that mark. Would love to hit that in the next couple days. I've uploaded at least 6 videos a day every single day since MyTEAM came out, and I'm super excited about this year. So let's keep it working. But without further ado, let's hop right into it. Al Horford is a solid B tier big in my opinion. 59 speed isn't great, but he's a very good shooter. He's a capable interior card. Really solid interior center, honestly, even at only 6'9". Still a very, very solid card on the interior. I like the card defensively. Pretty versatile. I think he's a nice option. I can stretch the floor. I think he's good. Solid B tier. Not insane. Not bad at all, though. Alonzo Mourning, I think, is a top A tier type of guy. Like, I think he's an A tier solid card. 74 speed, can hit a wide open three with a 65 three ball, and defends at a very high level. 6'10", but a 7'6" wingspan, so he's got good size. I like the card. Alonzo's a legit A tier guy. I think Amari Stoudemire at center honestly is still A tier as well. I just think he's really, really solid, man. He's big. He's like 6'10". He's not huge, but he's big. He's got 75 speed, so the athleticism, or the speed is there, and the athleticism is obviously there with like a 90 driving dunk. Super athletic big man. Not a great defender, but not horrific either. He's a good option at the 5. Andrew Bogut is 30-something speed with no three ball. He is terrible. Definitely a D tier guy. I understand he's an amethyst, but that doesn't mean he's good. He's definitely D tier. Bam Adebayo is 100% S tier. I don't think that's any doubt at all. I think he's been on all 3 of the tier lists that we've done today, and he has been S tier in all of them because he is a top 2 center in the game. A very, very good all-around card. And overall, I definitely think definitively S tier for sure. Is Ben Wallace S tier is the question. I actually think the answer is yes. I think Ben Wallace is an S tier center because he's 81 speed and he's a really good interior defender with good interior hoffs and every interior gold that you could want pretty much. He's your best option to stop Shaq. The speed is so valuable. The defense is so valuable. I think he's a top 5 center in the game. I really do. I'm super high on the card. Chris Webber also S tier, so we already have 3 of our S tier guys. But Chris Webber's a great card as well. I mean, he's 6'10". He's got good interior defensive ability, stretches the floor at a high level, is fast. He's like a very, very good version of Apollo Banchero is what I would consider Chris Webber. And I think he's a top tier big man. I really do believe he's still an S tier guy. And yeah, I think Webber in S tier is definitely a fair spot. Now, DeAndre Ayton, I think, is going to go A. He's like 65 speed, 60-something three ball, so he can shoot the ball and has decent athletic ability. He's big. He doesn't have the best interior stats, but he's a true 7-footer with a really big player build, which helps him out a lot defensively. I think Ayton's a legitimately good card. DeMarcus Cousins. I don't love DeMarcus Cousins. 58 speed, 52 vertical, 39 excel is real low. 75 shot 3 is good, and he's a decent dunker, but he's not a great defender. I actually think he's probably the best card in B tier, maybe going to end up a low A tier. A lot of the guys later on in this list are a little bit lower down, by the way. And I think DeMarcus Cousins is high B or low A. I like the card. I don't love the card. Dirk is going to go C tier. Not a fan, but not quite D tier probably. Stretches the floor very well, but the speed is so low, and he's such a poor defender. It makes him very hard to use because he's such a liability on that end of the court. So I definitely think he's a C tier guy. Domantas Sabonis is not a card that I have actually used, and I haven't played him very much either. I've played him a couple times. Really slow, really poor defender. He can shoot wide open kind of, and he can kind of dunk, and he is big, 7'1", but the speed is horrific. He's not a great shooter, and he is really poor defensively. That is a D tier card. Giannis, I am going to give S tier. I do believe you're looking at an S tier center with Giannis. Now, I understand his stats and badges, while very good, are not like next level insane, which makes sense. I mean, he's got 78 speed and excels, 85 driving, 82 interior, 85 lateral, 83 perimeter. He's a really good defender. He's not a great shooter, but he can hit wide open. I shoot probably about 50% on wide open threes with Giannis, is what I'd say. The defensive badges are so good, though. He's such a versatile center, and the fact that he can at least hit a wide open 3 is very important. I think he is a top 5 center in the game right now. Jabari Smith going to go A tier. Not a good interior defensive big at all. He's really actually pretty small. Player build is not very big. He's listed at 6'11", but he does not look it, and he plays smaller than 6'11". Interior defense is not amazing on this card, but he's a very good shooter with a really nice release, dunks the ball well. Defensively, he'll struggle, but he's good enough to be A tier. Jack Sikma, really nice stretch big, pick and pop big. Unfortunately, Sikma is very slow, 49 speed and excel. Really going to struggle laterally defensively. 72 shot 3 isn't crazy high, but his release is really nice. He's a very solid card. I do think B tier is fair for Sikma. Gonna put Jaren Jackson Jr. Jr. in A tier alongside DeAndre Ayton. They're very similar cards. Jaren has a little bit higher three ball than Ayton, is a little bit slower, but has better defensive values. They're both very similar though, and I think that Jaren is an A tier card for sure. Embiid, I don't think he's as good as Jaren or Ayton. I've gotten a few comments over the past couple weeks since this game came out about this Embiid card as I clicked on Dumars, not Embiid. And he's not bad. He's just a little slow, just a tiny bit slow. In between, really, he's in between Jaren and Ayton, so in terms of the speed. But he has a 73, which I like. I don't think he's quite as good of a release as those two cards, and I think that's important. I like the Silver Anchor, but he's not a particularly versatile defensive player. Like, I know Jaren is slower, but the defensive stats are a little bit better on him in terms of his versatility. I think Joel is a B tier, like a little bit lower than these two guys. Not a ton, but I think I would still put him a tier below. This is getting tough because I feel like I'm going to have to start putting more lower guys, but honestly, these guys are good cards. Like, I don't know. We'll have to adjust if we have to, because we might be getting to the point where it's going to become a little bit too top heavy. But Karl Malone, even though he's 6'9", excuse me, I think he's really, really solid, man. Like, he is. I know he's not crazy fast, only like 60-something speed, but he's got a very smooth release. He hits very consistently for me, way more consistently than a guy like Ayton, Jaren, or even a Giannis does. I barely miss with him when I'm wide open. I love his release. And he plays way bigger than 6'9". I think he's legitimately an A-tier card. I really like him a lot. Great interior, great rebounder, really nice card. LaMarcus Aldridge is probably D tier, maybe C, because he can kind of stretch the floor, but he's not a great card. He's really slow. 43 speed, not a good defender, not a good dunker. 62 shot three really isn't high enough to really justify a higher spot for him. He's definitely a D tier guy. Magic Johnson is going to go B. He's just not good enough defensively to compete against the bigger bigs because he just doesn't do much on the defense interior, and he's only 6'9". 68 interior isn't really going to cut it. But the playmaking is fun. He's fast. He's cool. He can hit a wide open three. I kind of like the card. He's fun to use. I think he's good enough to go B. I just don't think he's an elite card by any means. Miles Turner probably goes B or C as well. Another guy who is kind of similar to some of these other cards. His 56 speed is real slow, though. He can hit an open three, and he's a decent defender. He's slower than a guy like Ayton. Release isn't going to be quite as good, but I still think he's good enough to go B tier with the guys we have on this list right now. Thurmond, I think, is B or C. Thurmond can't shoot threes, and he's only 6'7" speed excel, which isn't insane, but he is big and he's very physical. He gets great interior animations, really good rebounder and interior defender. I think he's good enough to go B tier for sure. I would say he's as good as some of these B tier guys. I'm actually going to move some of these cards down. I'm going to move these cards here. I'm going to move Sigma down to C because he's not incredible. And I think I'm going to... If I have to move somebody else down, I feel like it's Embiid, but I don't want to move him down because I think he's good. I'm going to leave it like this for right now. B is a little bit too big, but we'll come back to it and try to adjust it a little bit more. Nikola Vucevic is 6'10", 7'4" wingspan. It's 54 speed excel. Can hit a wide open three, but he's a very poor defender, not super athletic. And the speed is definitely on the slower side, as well as he's not quite as big as guys like Jaren or DeAndre Ayton. Not a big fan of that card. He's D tier. I think Paulo is honestly B tier as well as center because he's not bad. I'm going to move Jaren back up. I'm going to move Ayton back up. I think we leave it like this for right now and try to maybe balance it out a little bit more, but that's not bad. I think Paulo is B. I think this is the fairest spot to do this right now. Paulo is not a good interior defender either, but he is fast and he's got a nice release and he dunks the ball well, and he does have a pretty good player build. He's better at power forward in my opinion, honestly, but I do think he's good enough to still be B tier at center. Pretty good card. Ewing can't shoot and is slow and has a horrific release. Patrick Ewing cards are never good earlier in 2K, and this year's no different. He's incredibly slow, can't shoot the three. Very poor card. Pau Gasol is A tier. Pau Gasol is damn good. I mean, he is really, really solid in this game. I don't know. I think he's definitely A tier. He's borderline S. 64 speed, 62 excel, 76 shot 3, 85 standing, and 70 driving dunk, 86 interior, 84 block as a true 7-footer is really solid. He's got a decent release. His badges are nice all the way around. I think he's a really nice card, and I think he's definitely A tier. Pretty high up in the A tier, actually. I'm going to move Jabari Smith down because he's a poor interior defender, and he has that terrible player build. And I think that evens it out a little. Well... no, we'll leave it like that. Rudy Gobert is going to go D tier. I don't think any of these D tier guys deserve to go up to C tier. So I think we're just going to have a small C tier in this one because I don't think these D tier guys are good enough to go up to C tier. Gobert is, again, very slow and can't shoot. I understand he's an interior defender, but 43 speed, 25-3, can't even really hit a mid-range. I understand he's an interior defender, but he's not fast enough. He's not good. He's just not. I'm sorry. You know who is good and is an interior center and can't shoot the ball? Shaquille O'Neal. And the reason that he's good is because he is so much better than every other center in terms of his speed, his size, his defense, his versatility. He is absolutely ridiculous. and the Diesel gets his own tier. Shaq in the top tier, last card on this tier list, and the best one on the tier list. 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan, 325 pounds. He has maybe the biggest player build of any card on this list. In fact, out of every card on this list, I would say he has the biggest player build out of all of them. Not only is he the biggest center that anybody uses in the game right now, because these are the only centers people are using. If they're using centers outside of this, I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. 87 speed and excel. 26 shot three. He can't shoot, but he's got 95 standing driving dunk, 95 interior, 92 block, 83 lateral quickness. The finishing badges are absurd. The defensive badges are absurd. He can get any badge in the game, which means you can add playmaking badges to him, like speed booster, bailout, break starter. You can add a fast twitch to dunk the ball. You can add a clamps or a challenger on the defensive end of the court if you want. Animation wise, he's got better SIGs than almost any center as well, which is really, really stupid. Steph behind the back. He's not going to shoot the ball, but he doesn't need to because he's so dominant. When you compare him to a guy like Bam Adebayo, who is the second best center in the game after Shaq, he is 4 inches taller, 5 inches longer wingspan, 70 pounds heavier. Stats are way better across the board in everything important. The only thing that Bam has better stats and are things that aren't that important besides shooting. And Bam is a better shooter. Yes, it's not worth enough when he's so much better defensively, so much better as a rebounder, so much faster, so much bigger, so much stronger, so much better as a slasher, so much better as a playmaker. He's just so much better than every other center in the game, and it's really not close. He's one of the best cards that we've seen in 2K in a long time, to be completely honest, compared to how good he is to everyone else. Not in terms of being an end-game type card, but in terms of how good he is compared to everyone else in the game. He's one of the best cards we've ever seen in 2K. I really do believe that. So that is good for this video. I hope you all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.